and welcome to our show on the media show on the Pod TV network. And we're going to be discussing a very important topic because it's highlighted all this week and maybe the next, and that relates to TikTok. What it is, what's it doing. We're going to bring our panelists right away so we can discuss it. Former writer for Jimmy Kimmel Live, we have Rick Rosner. Welcome to the show. And the former Associate Dean of the University of South Dakota School of Law, we have Daniel Worthington. And of course, we also have our producer who's been around for more than 100 years in the media sector, Mark Lee. And I think we'll start with Mark on this one because this is something you would be familiar with. It's TikTok. It's being attacked as part of Byte Dance or whatever, and they apparently are being labeled as Chinese information gather. So, Mark, what are your thoughts on this thing called TikTok?
Well, TikTok has definitely been a major factor in the social media lanes. There's no doubt that it is also owned and run by the Chinese government and things in that space. So definitely that is not a unknown fact or something that is not commonly known, but it is definitely a source that many people are using, including many of our youth, to get their message out and everything, whether that's, people wanted to have comments about the price of eggs or something in that space, and or the earthquake in Turkey, or their dogs and cats running around doing exotic tricks and all of that. But a lot of people are using TikTok, including some of our own folks, in order to get the message out, including the message out here about Pod TV. So TikTok is definitely a form that a lot of folks are using because it's quick, easy to use, and all in that space. But who is behind TikTok? I don't think that was any hidden news. Rick can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that was any hidden news that they were owned by that part of the world and have been owned by that part of the world since jump and everything in that way. So, we got a lot of these interesting alliances that go on in social media, but it is one of the more popular tools that folks use, along with Instagram, and of course Facebook is still being used quite a bit, even though some people will tell you that Facebook is for your parents' generation, and that's what some of the young folks will say, and that Instagram and TikTok are more what they like to use because they like quicker content.
Dan.
It's not our parents' generation, right? It's our
generation. We're the one who does Facebook. They're the one who does TikTok. Rick, what is your thoughts relating to TikTok?
I don't think I got to admit that I'm not super qualified because my family only lets me do Twitter. They let me go crazy on Twitter. They won't let me post on Instagram. They say it's not for you. And they have similar opinions about TikTok. They just don't want me to totally embarrass them.
What would you do to embarrass them? Are you going to show like your cat or dog jumping off and doing exotic cat dances or something along those lines? So exactly what
I have grotesque feet. My second toe is nearly 3 inches long, and they're afraid I'm just going to put up pictures of my feet, which I've been known to do.
Okay.
But I don't think you can separate, TikTok from a discussion of what China wants, and China wants to rule the world. And then you have to discuss, well, how does China want to go about doing that? It's pertinent because this whole past few days, everybody's been in a minor frenzy over the surveillance balloon that we shot down. And you've got two different models of world domination going on. You've got Russia on the one hand, which has this old model of we're just going to invade places. And then you have China, which, is an entrepreneurial dictatorship. And I would think that China, is semi-happy being fairly patient and letting its massive, technological juggernaut plus huge population do a lot of the work for it. But I'm not qualified to really opine on that.
Okay. Well, here's the problem that the U.S. government sees with TikTok is that the Chinese government anytime has rights to grab the assets and the data that's collected off TikTok. TikTok is a data mining machine. In other words, their whole objective is to grab as much data as they can, from the users, where they live, where they work, what they do, what they don't do, what they like, etc. So it gathers all the data and then turns it over to the Chinese government, potentially turns it over to the Chinese government, which they could use this for various different reasons to influence the small mindedness of the American.
Well, apparently we're going to have a lot of this addressed next month and everything, because apparently there is a lot riding on the TikTok CEO coming to Congress. So Xiao Zichu is going to be making an appearance in March, and on March 23rd, the 40-year-old Singaporean executive will testify in defense of his app's data security in front of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which is demanding answers about TikTok's relationship to the Chinese Communist Party. Chu will be hoping to turn the tide in what's been an incredibly uphill battle against U.S. regulators over the last year and a half. So I guess he's going to come here and try to talk us into believing that this is not the case and everything, and that definitely what you're saying is not happening and that we don't need to be concerned about it. But one of the people that I was reading this article about, Kendra Schaefer, the head of tech policy research at the Beijing-based consultancy Trafficking China, said TikTok has essentially tried to prove that its data is walled off so that its U.S. data stays in the U.S. and its China data stays in China. But it's been hard to assuage U.S. policymakers. So they're having a hard time convincing the U.S. policymakers that this is actually the case and everything in that kind of line. But I don't know if there's any folks here on the our panel have other thoughts about this, because apparently they're going like, no, we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing at all. We're just kind of like, y'all get y'all's data, we'll get our data. There's no intermingling of the data. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Well, I also think that they engage in hypnotic mesmerization of the viewers. In other words, I don't know if you've seen this, Rick, but a lot of the media is designed to basically grab your attention, keep your attention. And they use it in different ways to manipulate people. One, and I watched the TV shows do this, they quickly change the views on the TV shows within like 5 seconds. They always make sure that we have a view shift, okay? And the reason why it's to create a hypnotic state for the person who's watching it. Now, TikTok is engaged in that routinely because they keep the clips down to like 30 seconds, a minimum, maximum minute, but their sweet spot's around 30 seconds, realizing that if they flip the scene in 30 seconds, people will continually be hypnotized to watch it. If you don't believe that works, go look at NCIS. NCIS, the top rated show on CBS, will hypnotically change camera shoots every 30 seconds. Okay. And I counted it one time, sometimes even faster, because it puts people in a hypnotic state that they continually watch it because, oh, something's going to change. I continue, then something's going to change. So they engage in that.
I'm qualified to talk about the history.
I figured you'd be qualified to talk.
All right. So you got to go back to MTV, and comes on the air in 1981.
Yes.
MTV used to be just nothing but music videos. Music videos just did something new, which is super quick shots. Just like you're saying, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, half a second, clip, 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 until MTV. If you try to watch a movie from the 70s, the 60s, they're fantastically boring because they will stay in a shot for, sometimes 45 seconds, a minute. And so MTV began the training, that hypnotic thing where you just keep switching the clips it's a thing. Mm-hmm. And we're 40 years into being acclimated to that, and we need it. We love it. Like if you tried showing a Marvel movie with 30 superheroes fighting each other to somebody from 1968, they'd be completely confused because they couldn't follow it all. But we've been trained. Mm-hmm. And with all these new media, it's Darwinism where the most hypnotic stuff wins. Elon Musk, one more thing. Elon Musk, who has done a lot of dumb, bad stuff with Twitter, has done a smart thing. He started giving people in their feeds tweets that piss them off. I've started getting like nothing but like super hacky Republican tweets in my tweet because I'm liberal, and the first half a dozen tweets are from like Jim Jordan, House GOP, Judiciary GOP, and I just jump in and I'm like typing angry, 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 angry. So is everybody else. All my angry typing, my traffic has gone up 500%, and everybody's just all pissed off. Like, that's Musk's strategy, is get everybody all worked up, and it's whatever gets people hooked wins.
Right. And the thing is, what I've seen from Facebook, they've redesigned their strategy to compete with TikTok in a thing called Reels, Reels. It's basically what it is. It's TikTok, Facebook using their big platform to compete against TikTok with very quick hypnotic state engineering, which again draws the viewer in. Now, when it draws the viewer in, at the same time, what TikTok's doing, because remember, you're not paying for the service, right? It's free. So what they're doing is they're collecting your vital information. Okay, so you actually are paying for it because you're giving them the information about yourself. And in the meantime, they're hypnotizing you by watching all their stupid stuff as you continually give them information as to what you like, what you don't like, because the AI computer programs can see what you like and what you don't like and feed you more of it or less of it, depending on that. Now you have this big database, and TikTok is the fastest growing form of media. And the part of the reason I'm looking at this, Rick, I'm looking for us doing the same thing. Okay. Yeah. Just be honest. I'm going like, wait a minute, this hypnotic state stuff works. And we're developing a thing called Pod TV Bullet. All right. Now what that is, it's the same thing, real, same thing, technology. It's hypnotic technology where our clips are limited to 30 seconds to a minute maximum, and then what happens, it goes back into where you want to direct them to, which would be one of our shows, obviously. So I'm not immune to saying, hey, look, I'm going to fight them. I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to join them because this hypnotic state stuff actually works. Now, the consumer, what I'm talking about, the American public, they don't even know that they are being manipulated by the media. I think if you asked 100 of them, do you know how they're manipulating you using TikTok? They wouldn't have a clue. They're going to say, well, I like the dancing girls. I like the airplane flying. I'm like whatever they like that appeared for 30 seconds, but not realizing that psychologically what they're doing is they're grasping people and putting them in their claws and like I say, we have no reason to grab the data. So all I do is I'm just shifting them over to watch our shows. In other words, okay, you like this, go watch more on the Pod TV network, which is where we carry our 1 hour shows like this or half-hour shows or whatever. But the whole theory of hypnotic states, Rick, I think it's a very smart phenomenon. In other words, it actually works.
Well, it turns into a discussion of free will.
Yeah.
Where I don't buy the idea of free will. I buy the idea of informed will, where do you understand why you're making the decisions you're making?
Yeah.
And, there's always areas in our lives where, we have more control and more understanding and less control. Like, we've evolved to want to reproduce after 4 billion years of life on Earth. The push for us to make more people is strong, and you often see people making crazy bad decisions in the area of sex because that's the main area where our brain like pushes us in directions that maybe aren't helpful for our individual survival in favor of species survival. Mm-hmm. But in a lot of other areas of our lives, we understand what we're doing. But when you get into, the trend now is that we will have less free will because you've got these huge technological juggernauts plus AI that, are overwhelming us. and may reduce our informed will, that we're more cogs in, these media juggernauts than we are individuals making informed choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you also have to volunteer to watch it. In other words, nobody forces anybody to watch TikTok or Reels. In other
No,
words,
but if like we've seen during elections and
oh sure,
that if you get hit with a fire hose
mm-hmm.
of personalized information, that it finds out what, social media finds out what you like and then just hits you with it, it's very hard to resist.
Right.
And often it's hard to, find, it's easy to make people believe BS if you hit them with a fire hose.
Yeah. Yeah. But shouldn't we have an informed education system that explains to people at least that this is what's going on? I don't see our media, I guess it's adverse to the media to tell them that this is what's going on. The media is manipulating you and they're doing it on purpose. Okay. Hypnotic states are real, Nick, and they're going to manipulate you on purpose.
No, but I got a question for you, Nick, because you said we weren't going to collect information, and I do know some people that love getting information, including email lists and a number of other things, and sometimes they use things like TikTok and Instagram and all of that, but are we going to at least collect their information in the sense of who our customers are and consumers are, and maybe even their emails?
Mark, we're working in this area right now. We're doing some beta test right now in this area. So Kim has put some balloons and I put some balloons on Reels. In other words, trial balloons, similar to the Chinese balloon, but we have our own Pod TV balloons. Okay. Within minutes, she had and she showed me 4 million views, 5 million views. We never get 4 to 5 million views watching our network, but they will watch these 30-second clips on TikTok and Reels. And I put one out the other day. I have over 1,000 already, just putting out the next day. And so the thing is, what we're doing is we're monitoring a phenomenon, which I believe is very advantageous for anybody in media, is to get, and then of course the goal is to morph them over into the network. So when I put these Reels out now, we first did it. And by the way, Facebook will pay you for it too. That's another thing. In case you don't know, she got a check from Facebook because she had 4 million people watch this stupid
but Nick, isn't one of the complaints that people have about media is that it's the leads attitude and all of that space? But if we're only going to watch 30 seconds of a news item, that means and I know Dan will agree with this, this means that you get a 30-minute clip of President Biden at a press conference, or maybe a 30-minute clip of him sleeping and everything, or you get a 30-minute clip of whatever the latest shooting, well, not even 30 minutes, 30 seconds. I said 30 minutes, but I meant 30-second clip of those kind of things, or 30-minute clip of whatever the latest crime is, whether that's a murder or a bank robber or whatever.
But see what happens, the way they design it, Mark, and this is the way we're going to design our own Pod TV bullet. 30 seconds, and then you flip to the next thing that goes also for 30 seconds. And then when they're done with that, you flip to the next one that's for 30 seconds. You never keep anything longer than 30 seconds. All right. Here's the game plan. Then what we're doing is we're putting our see more on podtv.tv, see more on podtv.tv. What does it cost us to do this? Zippo. How many people watch it? Millions. Okay. And I'm going, why are they watching that, not watching the show? It's real simple.
People love
Einstein.
And people love that. Nick, people love that idea because sometimes just watching things that are fun and everything. I'm actually going to pull up some TikToks in a minute, but sometimes we have a lovely show that deals with the carnival industry, and one of their most funner commercials that we have played several times is actually a bunch of kids that are frustrated on the fact that they don't get to go on the cruise. So just so people can get an idea, and this is actually a longer clip, it's about a minute, but it is kind of funny and everything.
Okay, right.
So let's check this out. What these kind of clips can be about and all of this, because this is a group of kids that are complaining, hey, wait, my parents get to go on the boat? I don't. Let's check this out.
Mama, Papa, was your suitcase packed but not mine? How could you leave us kids behind? Parents are going on a cruise without us kids, and we know who Virgin Voyages says we can't cruise till we're 18, which makes us shake like we had caffeine. Virgin Voyages says no kids on the ocean, so we're causing a commotion. You'll be sipping cocktails under a starlit night while we're back home without an invite. Sure, you've earned a gourmet spread, but we're experiencing existential dread.
Adults, enjoy the cruise. We know you deserve it, but the fact we can't go is total bull.
Yeah, see, the problem with that clip, Mark, it's actually too long.
Yep.
To put somebody in a hypnotic state, you need it to be 30 seconds or less. In other words, and then continually flip the 30 seconds
You
over.
say it needs to be too long, but I've actually got one. It is a TikTok one that got a lot of views and all of that. I'm actually going to see if I can't bring that one up and everything. That was
Okay, yeah,
actually
right.
a YouTube clip, but there was a gentleman that actually ironically went around, if I can find this particular one and if it comes up first. And one involved a automobile kind of situation and an exotic situation in that space. The other one involved the whole notion of how many languages do you speak and all in that kind of way. And both of these got a pretty decent amount of views and all that. I don't know if they got the views that our co-founder got and all in that way, but
Yeah,
we're
like
about to
5
find out.
million. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
I
5
couldn't believe that either. But while I'm loading that up, Rick, hold on a second. Let's check this out. This one is actually a longer TikTok one because you can't do long TikToks. Yes, you can do long forms and they actually work. Let's check
Became
this
a
out.
fake cop in GTA 5 RP and decided to steal people's cars. And so I end up successfully stealing this crazy futuristic supercar and instantly get pulled over by the cops. This is what happened. This is jank, bro. Did somebody see me just shoot the guy? Oh no, they know I was shooting out of the car, bro. Hold up.
Driver, turn off the engine. Keep your hands on the dash.
Wait, what's the reason for the stop?
With your right hand, please take the keys out and put them on the roof.
Yep.
And then step.
Bro, how do they know this is stolen? I shot the dude, bro. Okay, we got a dip. We got a dip, dude. What do we do? Damn it, nah, I have an escape. I have an escape. I was gonna use this for later in the video, but we're just gonna do it right now. Bro, the chances of us pulling this off are slim, but we got it. It's a super sketchy jump. This is literally a huge risk, but if we hit it, it's a big payoff. We're getting away. There's no way they're gonna catch us. But it's just, we gotta hit this jump, because if not, this thing's getting flooded. Dude, I'm actually nervous. Oh my gosh. Go here. Oh, we got four cops on us. Nah, this is jank. This is jank. All right, we got this, dude. Nah, I'm locking in. Come on, man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Bro, if we don't crash by the time we get there. Okay, come on, come on. Come on. There's literally 5 cops on us, bro. Please hit this. Please hit this. Please hit this. Please hit this. Yes! Go. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. There's no way. Get in the car. Go. Go, go, go. Get in the tugboat and go. Get in the tugboat and go. Come on, bro. That was insane. Start the engine, go. We're gone. We are gone. That was insane. I thought we undershot it. Oh my gosh. Nah, dude, that was clean. All the cops are pulling up, dude. They can't do anything. They got no boats. Oh my gosh, they got a jet ski. Oh my gosh, they got a jet ski. Oh my gosh. We gotta kill him. Hold on, dude. We gotta snipe him. Hold on, they're driving to that boat. Hold up, hold up. One dead. Come on, one more. We gotta kill him. There we go. Easy. All right, we gotta get rid of the helicopter. Where's the chopper? Where did the chopper go? Come on. Come on. Done. We gotta shore this ASAP. We got the car off the boat. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna go stash this car and steal another cop car.
Yes, that was an actual TikTok video and everything.
Really?
So.
Yeah, that was a little long for TikTok.
Gotta go.
What?
I gotta go. Sorry.
You gotta go. Okay. Yeah, a little long too long for Dan. So yeah, that was a little bit long for TikTok. Usually, like I said, they're about 30 seconds, and then they're out.
And sometimes they have some of that balance. I mean, that was plainly a gamified version of a TikTok, but definitely there are some folks that might get upset because of some of the content that was in that particular
Oh, sure,
TikTok as well, and everything, because you're taking out the palettes and everything else.
Well,
But
well, see, the goal is what we do is then you put a little ad, see more on Gamers Den Wednesday night on the Pod TV network. You see what I mean? And this way, Jatovi can increase his viewership because literally, I don't know how many people watch that one, but it could be literally at market could be millions of people. Seriously, watching in a very short period of time. Although, like I said,
I think Rick had something he wanted to say.
So, if you hooked, if you were doing PET scans or some kind of brain scan of somebody watching TikTok, you'd probably see them, get a burst of pleasure in the first 10 seconds of every little video. A burst of dopamine or serotonin or whatever, makes your brain feel good. Because we evolved for generalized pattern recognition on the savannah. That motion in the grass, is there some kind of animal in the grass that I can either eat or will eat me? And you've got to, and you got to figure out what that is in just a few seconds. And we get rewarded for recognizing patterns. That's why jokes work. Jokes, they set up a problem and then they quickly resolve it with the punchline. And you can tell a joke in 15 seconds or faster. And that's what TikTok's doing. It sets up a situation, and as soon as you understand what's going on in the thing, it moves to something else for your brain to figure out. And after 40 years of MTV quick clips, and now we have 700 channels to flip around, we are used to quickly looking for patterns, figuring them out, moving on.
Yeah. Well, that again, that's my theory of TikTok, is that it really, what it does, it puts people in a hypnotic state. They move everything every 30 seconds. And the media is designed to get people.
Speaking of which, and I see we've got Rex here, but I do want to bring up just one more. And this was the one I was looking for, that is lighter and everything, but it is one that is involving Ukraine and foreign language. And this is closer to the 30-second ones, but this is 44 seconds. But let's check this out.
If you speak more languages than me, I'll give you 10 euros.
Okay. I speak Ukrainian, Russian, Portuguese, Brazilian, Korean, and French.
Yes.
And English.
It's 7 languages.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell me in all 7 languages, I love you.
Я тебе кохаю, я тебя люблю, eu gosto de ti. Saranhão, je
Very good.
Gosto de ti também. Pronto. I love you. Easy.
So you speak 7 languages?
Yeah, I speak.
That's very well, but it's not enough to win the 10 euros because I speak. Wait! Guys, if you want to find out how many languages do I speak, I'm in live stream right now. Go to my live stream and watch it.
And Rex has joined us, who actually, speaking about TikTok and media manipulation, he heads
I want to know how many languages Rex speaks.
One. Let him speak.
Unfortunately, one. And my wife's Hispanic. She speaks Spanish. My mom was born and raised in Germany. And I spoke a little bit of German up until my parents divorced, and then I lost it all. So, yeah, getting back to TikTok, I saw your end comment there about it being hypnotic. It's not necessarily hypnotic. That's a good way to describe it, but what TikTok does, the developers are ByteDance. That's the corporation out of China that develops TikTok. And what the app and platform developers are doing with social media apps, and they have been since the beginning of Facebook, is they utilize what's called brain hijacking technology associated with manipulative advertising technology, which is a course that's actually taught at Stanford University for programmers. They actually go to Stanford and they learn how to make apps and platforms addictive for advertising purposes. Then they go to work for these Silicon Valley tech companies. That's who Tristan Harris is, the former Google product manager who spoke out about this. He's the one who is featured in the Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma. He was the first one to come out and speak about it. Sean Parker, if you know who he is, he's the founder of Napster and also Facebook. He also admitted this during an Axios interview that they used brain hijacking technology in the development of Facebook and Instagram. They all do it. And what brain hijacking technology is it's intermittent variable rewards such as social validation feedback loops, which are associated with the thumbs up, the balloons, the confetti. It's the number one ingredient that's utilized in slot machines. And they just put the same features into social media. And that's what makes it so addictive and harmful to kids. They're always looking for that social validation feedback loop that you're good, everyone loves you. The other thing that they're doing, which is very dangerous, is they use algorithms to put people all into their own echo chambers of their own thoughts. And then they group people together by who have the same opinions. And then all of a sudden you get the same feed in terms of news. So if you click on a few conservative things, all of a sudden you're going to get conservative news. You click on a few liberal things, you start getting liberal news. But once they divide you up into your echo chamber, what they then do is the algorithms are designed to be divisive. They then want you to start clashing with people because that keeps you coming back. So like if you leave your Facebook page for a while or Instagram page and you have your notifications on, you start to see people who are reacting to one of your posts, but you're getting the negative reactions. So that's going to make you want to jump back on and correct those people with your thoughts. And the other issue here are bots. How many of these are actually bots and they're not real people? It's just AI reading your text and then having a canned response to that to make you think it's somebody out there who's even replying to your posts, and then you're caught in this cycle of jumping back on and off, and that's what they want to do, and then that's what all these techniques are used to do, and that is to keep you addicted to your page.
None of this is necessarily new or overly sophisticated. Back in 1971, when I was in 6th grade, the teacher taught a unit on the 7 ways that advertising manipulates you.
Yeah.
And also I read Mad Magazine back then, which made fun of all this. It's just that we have the technology now to hit people with it rapid fire.
Yep. No, it's notifications. Yeah. If you were in a debate with your friends at school and ended after you left school, well, this follows you around in your phone. Now, there are real bad consequences associated with all this. There's been double-digit rises in self-harm, anxiety, depression, and suicide among social media users since 2011. Now, people ask, well, why is that significant? Well, 2011 was when social media started to proliferate from your desktop computer to your smartphone. Then it became mobile, and then it became attached to you 24 hours, 24 by 7, 365 days a year. Regarding TikTok, there adds another element to this, is that it's the surveillance and data mining features of the apps, just like Facebook and all that. Not only do they want to keep you on the platform, but what people don't realize is that the app, while you're on the platform, the app is collecting all your text messages, your calendar information, your contact information, all your SMS texts, aside from your emails, email attachments, your photographs, all of that. They're collecting all of that, and then they're packaging that and making money on it. So not only are they making money from the advertisers, they're also taking your personal data and your business data, because the surveillance and data mining is indiscriminate. It doesn't distinguish from consumer related data or the use of the app and the platform. It's collecting all of your information, both your personal and business information, and then they're packaging that and making money on that as well. So they're getting huge advertising dollars, and then they're getting all sorts of money for what's called plaid data, which is the data associated with your use of the device. So if you use your device for personal uses, they're collecting that. For medical uses, they're collecting that. Legal, academia, and also medical information, everything. They collect everything, your employment information, and they're making profiles on you. They're collecting voice prints. They now collect your retina. So with all this facial recognition and facial ID, when you put that camera up to your face, they're collecting your retina information. So they're collecting biometric data, your personal data, and all of that, and they're packaging that. That's actually worth more than the advertising dollars.
But Rex, we actually brought this up in the news show earlier today and everything, but I had read recently that Amazon is doing this whole notion of you don't need a bank card. I think I have one of those laying around here somewhere, but you can actually do a palm imprint. So apparently they've got some technology where they can scan your hand.
Yeah, biometric.
All you gotta do is swipe the hand and it'll take the money away out of your account because you've swiped the hand and approved that amount and everything. And I'm wondering how many kids are going to get that imprinted, how many people are just going to accidentally, be waving at their friend and everything. And, the technology is saying, oh, you want to buy that $10 and everything, but you really were just waving at your friend.
Yeah.
So we have a dog that's half Whippet, half Chihuahua, very nervous dog. Now in her old age, she's gotten sick from just being, ears always back, full of adrenaline, skittish. After 12 years of that, she has a thing called Cushing's, which is what you get when you've been revved up your whole life. And I am that dog. Under Trump, I lost 15 pounds because it was OMG 30 times a day, because always worked up, and it's corrosive. I'm on a beta blocker that knocks down my adrenaline, but even so, this stuff all the time keeps us worked up all the time.
Well, they want that, and they want it to be divisive. And it's not only on social media; it's in our media in general. The media operates that way. We've all been divided into our echo chambers. Depending on your political ideology, you're going to go get your news from conservative news outlets or liberal news outlets, and it shouldn't be that way. There should be unbiased news outlets giving both sides of the story. Now we have to go look at a liberal news story and a liberal and a conservative news story and find the truth in there. 2 years ago, during the elections, if you hunted for the truth on the Hunter Biden laptop story, well, you either believed the liberal news media who said it wasn't true and that was Russian disinformation, or you believed conservative media that said it was absolutely true, only to find out 2 years later that it is true. And Hunter Biden just admitted last week, oh, yeah, that is my laptop. So, that's the trouble in all this. The truth is somewhere in there, but we don't know where the truth is. It's the same thing with Trump's documents. Everybody wants to believe that the classified information he had was harmless and he was the president and he can declassify it and all that. That's a bunch of crap. I went and did a research on the law. The law doesn't state that. The law doesn't even allow him to declassify it on his own. He has to go through a process, and that has to be vetted through the CIA and other intelligence agencies before they can even allow a president to even declassify something. There are steps to be taken. He can't wave a magic wand and say, oh, this is just declassified. So if you were to look at the law, he broke the law, along with Pence, along with Hillary Clinton and Biden. They all broke the law, and no one's being held accountable to the law because one side wants to say, well, the other side's doing it, so it's okay for us to do it. No, it's not. If you go to the National Archives and download the law and analyze it, you will find that they all broke the law. And these are examples of how we're being divided up and how no one's being held accountable for anything, because it's told through one lens to one group of people. It's told through another lens to another group of people. And that's how they're keeping us all divided. Where in the old days, they didn't care if you were a Republican or a Democrat. If you broke the law, they went after you. Remember, I forgot what they were called, Abscam, or it was back in the early 80s when they were catching all those politicians who were taking dirty money from lobbyists, and they were setting them up in hotel rooms. Well, they were capturing Republicans and Democrats alike. So what they've done now is they've just made all that corruption legal. They call it advocacy through law firms on K Street. And now they can legally break the law and take money from lobbyists on K Street, even Chinese lobbyists. But that's what our politicians are doing. Both sides are engaged in this, not one side or the other. And we're not getting the truth. That's it. We're just not getting the truth.
The anger industry is set up to grab on to any issue and get people worked up about it.
Exactly, because they monetized it.
It's
they
like,
put
okay,
commercials
so the
in
gas
between.
stove things.
Yeah.
A study comes out that shows that gas stoves emit dangerous chemicals into the air. And then, so that thing is angerized where.
No, it's angerized, but people also love doing stupid things and all in that nature, because I'm actually going to show a TikTok that is actually totally silly and all that. But I do want to know after the video if Rex can break himself in half, because this is actually a popular video. So let's check
I have one more issue that I saw that they're trying to get people.
So why are we watching this again?
That's the kind of silliness that you see on TikTok. But hold on a second. I know Rick's got a serious issue to bring up, but I do have one for you, because I found as well. Just because I know you're a chess lover, I dug this one up for you.
That's way too much work. I won't work that hard on that. But one thing that you said very interesting, Rex, is they're actually teaching people at Stanford. Was it the business school or the tech school how to manipulate people on?
It's a manipulative or persuasive advertising course.
Oh, it's a persuasive advertising course. Which
so the problem with this is, if it's used to get you to buy hamburgers or tennis shoes, that's one thing. But that same technology was behind what everyone wondered what the big deal was about Facebook, Cambridge Analytica. I was a congressional advisor to Senator Blumenthal's office regarding the Facebook Cambridge Analytica congressional hearings. Because if people don't know this about me out there, I work in the tech industry. I'm actually an app and a platform developer by day and a tech journalist by night. So what people don't realize, what was behind that was how they were collecting your data, then using it for political purposes. That's what made it so damaging. And so now they're using persuasive and manipulative advertising to get you to vote for presidential candidates. First of all, how did we stray so far away from connecting with friends and family with social media to where now the media platforms have been infiltrated by all the intelligence agencies to use as disinformation platforms? Where we've moved beyond connecting with friends and family. That was the original purpose of Facebook. It wasn't to manipulate you to do things or vote for presidential candidates. It wasn't meant for militaries to weaponize the platforms. And so forth. So I think because of the addictive nature in the platforms, that the FTC needs to get involved. People are killing themselves. Yeah. In what other industry can you develop an addictive product that results in the deaths of children? Cigarettes are
opioids. They've gotten away with.
Yeah, but they're not marketed to children. And that's what's happening is kids are committing suicide over this. If all of us had a car seat manufacturing company today, and we manufactured car seats. And one of those car seats, we sold 10 million of them, and one or two of them injured or killed one of the children using it. You have to recall all 10 million of those seats, whether those were the only two bad seats or not.
Right.
Well, that doesn't happen with social media. Some kid goes out there, gets cyberbullied, ends up embarrassed online, and ends up killing themselves over all of that. And or is depressed or has a lot of anxiety because of the divisive nature of the platforms and the addictive nature of the platforms, and they kill themselves. There's no recall. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't, the Section 230 laws don't protect the companies from breaking consumer protection and child protection laws. And they're breaking them all the time. Any kid, if you see a 10-year-old on TikTok, they're breaking the law, or Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat. This happened. A 10-year-old girl last year killed herself as a result of the TikTok blackout challenge. She tried it. She stayed blacked out too long and died as a result of it. First of all, it was illegal for her to even be on the platform. She's not supposed to be on the platform at under 13. There's no oversight. And then now you see active commercials and promotional stuff marketing to children under 13 to be on social media. They show the kids out there dancing. The parents are idiots who are putting their kids on there and letting their kids dance around and using them as ornaments and putting them on these platforms and teaching this to their children. These are highly addictive and dangerous products to use. It's worse than alcohol or cigarettes because of the psychological aspect of it all. And that's what we're seeing here.
Do you see any education in this direction?
No, none. Teachers are participating in this stuff.
No, there's education at Stanford University, it sounds to me, as to how to manipulate people and put them in addictive and hypnotic states. So in the
when I was 11, I was taught how not to be a dupe, to not be manipulated by this,
and not only that, the PSAs when I was growing up was to get you to not watch as much cable TV or play video games.
But Rick, what do you say to those? Because I do know some teachers, and I know some people involved in the teaching space that will actually, to Nick's point, use the TikTok technology in order to educate their students and things of that nature. Maybe they're going to show a short 30-second or minute video about Harriet.
There's some aspects of it. There's some aspects of it that are good. Here's
a halo of evil. Okay.
Exactly.
That's a problem with school. That's a general problem with education, which is 100 years ago, school was the most interesting part of a kid's day. They're either at school or they're on the farm, looking at a mule's butt as they're plowing. Now school's the least interesting part of a kid's
day. I guess what I'm asking is, what's the biggest difference, or in some senses? I'm not saying that there isn't some differences. I'm not saying that TikTok is this great.
Let me circle back to,
but I'm going to further the question. But I know that back in the 70s and when I was a child, and definitely even in the 80s, and some friends of mine that are younger than I am said they were even doing it in the 90s. There was a whole conversation of a party line, and people would be on the party line, and some of that would be some crazy conversation similar to what goes on TikTok and everything.
So let me circle back to what you said about the teachers using it for good.
Right.
The algorithms in China are programmed differently. The kids on TikTok there, and I think it's called Doulan, or it has a different name. The kids there, the algorithms show them other kids achieving academically. They show them achieving in sports. They show good things. They show good examples from adults on how to be a good citizen. So the algorithms are programmed to be educational to the children who are using it in China, where the Chinese are. This is why the platform is literally, it's a weaponized platform. It's a military weaponized platform in the hands of our children. That's exactly what it is. That was described by a cybersecurity expert out of Washington, D.C. FCC Carr called it digital fentanyl, FCC Commissioner Carr. And the reason is because they're doing two different algorithms. One algorithm in China is protective of children. The other ones that are sent out to the West are destructive. And
that's what I was going at, because apparently TikTok, and there was an article in BBC, I was actually trying to pull up the article, but they announced plans to commission hundreds of experts, and this was actually done a couple of years ago, so I imagine that's what they're doing, to actually move into the education market. So they were actually asking TikTok creators to create what I was saying, that hopefully that's what some of the kids are doing, is creating some of these educational.
I think, first of all, I'm not against social media, but because of all these addictive and dangerous features with it, it needs to be marketed to adults. I think you should be 18 to even be on it. It's too much of a distraction for high schoolers to be on it because they're not doing their work. They're addicted to their feeds and they're always trying to get attention and so forth. So, I think there needs to be age limits on it. I think that some of these addictive features should be illegal. Here's what they're doing, and this is worse than subliminal advertising. Subliminal advertising was very similar. You could program people, and that's why it was illegal in the 20th century. Today, this is much worse because aside from the brain hijacking technology that they utilize with it, what they're doing with your personal information is equally as bad. So they'll take your personal information, they divide you up into 4 or 5 personality groups, and then they custom tailor ads for those personality groups. This is what they do with Facebook Cambridge Analytica to go after people who are in the middle for Trump. They customize ads, and they were bombarding their feeds with all this positive stuff about Trump and so forth. And that's how they were moving people to pull the lever for them. But what they did with the information is horrifying. They take your information, and the first thing they do is apply AI to it to find out what your personality traits are. And then they use predictive analytics along with suggestive advertising to customize the ads for you. This is worse than subliminal advertising. Now, imagine a military. Imagine this in the hands of a military who's doing cognitive warfare on the masses. So it's called unrestricted hybrid warfare, where everybody's a target. You're a target. Your kids are a target. Everybody's a target. So all this ties back to China's hybrid warfare against the West. And now you have these algorithms and this brain hijacking technology, and people are being manipulated. Now they can do massive manipulation campaigns. Real quickly, and I'll come back to you, Rick. During 2020, the Floyd, after Floyd was killed by the police officer in Minneapolis, a lot of the riots were peaceful. But there was a campaign on TikTok, not riots, but a lot of the protests were peaceful. So all the people, initially the protests turned out to be peaceful. Well, a lot of the organization between the anarchists that were infiltrating into the protests to make them violent were being organized on social media platforms, including TikTok, Facebook, and so forth. So you can see how these are weaponized by military to say, okay, let's organize all these people who are violent and then subject them and interject them into the protest. Same thing. Most of the Trump protesters on January 6th were peaceful people. It was just a handful of that went and hit the Capitol, and all that was done through social media. And then you could see where intelligence agencies, if they're utilizing social media, how they can rile up a bunch of people and get them to do things they otherwise wouldn't do. Go ahead, Rick.
So I think 60 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, Khrushchev, who was running the Soviet Union, said, "We will conquer you without firing a shot."
Yes. That's The Art of War by Sun Tzu. We'll subdue the enemy without fighting.
Using our own excesses against us. And Russia,
that's what we're seeing today.
Russia is kind of, it's only semi-competent. On the one hand, they have very, they spend a lot of money and effort to destabilize Western countries by various means, some of them social media. But China seems more patient and more competent at stuff like this than Russia.
Yeah, it's called unrestricted hybrid warfare. And I've written a lot of articles on tech-based hybrid warfare waged by China that's based on some of these tactics that I'm giving to you. And they all tie back to Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Sun Tzu, who was a 5th century BC military strategist and general for the Chinese army, wrote a book on the art of warfare. And he said the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. You don't want to damage all of the lands and that you want to conquer. You want all that infrastructure in place. And B, you don't want to kill a bunch of people. You want to turn them to like you. Otherwise you're going to have all these revolutionary problems and everything. Even if you do conquer, it's going to be a nightmare like what Russia's seeing in the Ukraine. today. So his approach was totally different in that, you become close to your enemy, you befriend your enemy, you get to know your enemy. You've already won the battle before the battle's ever fought. These are all the same philosophies. And China adopted an unrestricted hybrid warfare based on Sun Tzu's Art of War against the West in the mid-90s. That's well documented.
So
hey, Rex, I know we're going to wind down, but I was good.
After World War II,
I was going to say, I know we're going to wind down.
America was the world's friend. We were giving aid to everybody.
Yeah.
And then recently under Trump was kind of wanted us to pull back from all that. And China was trying to fill that gap, that vacuum by becoming the world's friend.
No doubt. But one of the things, and I know we're going to wind down, I had two quick ones to show, including one that involved a threat that actually, ironically, a Harvard person did. And both of these are very quick. You'll be glad to know this. Nick, they're like, one's 19 seconds, the other is about 30 seconds to wrap us up. But two quick other TikToks, just so folks can see what TikTok is all about. But here's the 19-second one. Then I'll bring the one around political things.
Which lighter has the coolest flame? 1, 2. 3. 4.
The next person who has the sheer nerve to say all lives matter, I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna show you my paper cut and say, my cut matters too.
An analogous joke that Trump Twitter thought was real